awe is the prototypical human experience that connects you to things outside of and bigger than yourself.
Now we've got ways to study awe. We've got ways to measure it. And we've figured some things out. If you want to understand awe, you've got to come to places where people are experiencing it. I feel like there's no place like this in the world. This is overwhelmingly awe-inspiring. 360 degrees of awe. We've got to do a study here because people are having different experiences and they're choosing their own odd ventures. You can compare viewing the place from up there, viewing the place from here where you're closer to the water, you're hearing its sounds, and just compare people's experiences of this place from those different points, each unique in its own right. I'm a social psychologist. I'm fundamentally interested in human relationships, how people relate to one another in the world around them. And I think people intuitively know how powerful and meaningful experiences of awe are. We, as a species, feel it. Our job here as scientists is to try to reveal what those intuitions are all about and to try to unpack what those effects really are, why it is that as humans we so long for places like this and the experiences that places like this can give rise to. I was just in the waterfall. We're here at this vantage point. It's so populated or it's so visited that we should definitely do a study here.
Psychologists have maybe a very boring definition of what awe is. Things that are particularly vast that we can't accommodate into our, what we call a schema, our understanding of reality. It's something that challenges us in a way that needs to be resolved for us to sort of understand who we are and where we are.
The experience that I had in the waterfall definitely felt more, I wouldn't have used the term sacred, but that's the experience that I think the sacred or the eco-spiritual construct is getting at. You're actually actively engaging with nature as opposed to passively taking it in.
It's good that we're gonna have 2 months there so we can like come up with ideas when we're there.
These Alpine mountain lakes, they're insane. Whether you're out on the lake looking up or whether you're up here looking down, it's all just so beautiful. My name's Adrian Ballinger. I'm a big mountain climber and skier. Career highlights for me, I've climbed Mount Everest and K2, the 2 tallest mountains in the world without supplemental oxygen. In 2004, I founded my company, Alpine Expeditions. We take over 5,000 people a year out into the mountains through local experiences here in Lake Tahoe. And then we have our feature kind of like bigger international expeditions, taking people to the highest mountains in the world.
When people start these adventures, you feel like there's a lot of kind of, I don't know how you would put it, but like me-centric.
Of course.
Yeah.
People often come in and join a group trip on a big expedition, but they've been training on their own. They've sacrificed to leave their family behind or leave work behind or spend all this money. Many people come in pretty like self-interested.
I don't go on expeditions, though I'd be down to join one of yours. But like,
come study us.
I would have thought that if you're on an expedition, it's all about the team.
It certainly needs to be a goal, and it's where we try to get a team to.
Got it.
I think the environment, I mean, coming to, on these places, like, I think the environment helps to bring people there pretty quickly. Nature has so much power. Maybe it's out there to kill you, maybe it just doesn't care. I often remember the mountains don't care about me. That means they can roll right over me as well, and we need to approach them with that understanding. That's not a negative, that's a positive of these incredible places, and I in no way want to state that and suddenly have people being like, well, I don't want to go there, it's scary, it's dangerous. There is risk to these places, but they can be incredibly safely experienced, and that's what I've spent my life trying to share with people.
The first order of business was figuring out if we can induce awe reliably out in the field, and if we can measure that and capture that. And so we started at a trail, and we're trying to see how people's experiences on a hike, which has a really awe-inspiring viewpoint. We spent a few weeks in different iterations, not reliably being able to measure increases in awe. And so we thought we had to sort of boost the experience. And so we came to the gondola. The viewpoint is incredibly awe-inspiring. And what we're interested in looking at in this study is how that experience of awe affects people's feeling of contentment, well-being, life satisfaction, meaning, and also their view of nature. At the same time, we've had RAs going to Inspiration Point, which overlooks Emerald Bay, and we've been using that same strategy of having people take a moment at the viewpoint. We have some RAs standing up here all day, basically helping people walk through these exercises. So we're looking out at this view a lot. It feels compelling, like it feels like this study should work.
Hello, sorry to bother you today. We're from the University of California, Irvine. We're social psychologists, and we're looking at people's experience here in South Lake Tahoe.
And so we have these research-backed up steps. You're gonna breathe, sense, and savor. Really try to feel awe.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And then I just have a very quick survey for you after, and some candy.
Once we can indicate that awe has an influence in pro-social and pro-environmental behaviors, I think that can help get more green spaces.
This is my first time. This is my first time riding this gondola, and this is my first time seeing this view, so I've not seen any of this. Wow, I'm already like stunned at how much you can see even from here.
Yeah, how I do it every
Oh my God, this is totally, totally, totally unreal.
People are reporting what they're experiencing when they're looking at this view, and they're talking about things like feeling a sense of connection with all things, feeling goosebumps on their arm, feeling their hair stand up, feeling time slow. So we can plot how much people are experiencing those sorts of things.
So I immediately see this view and I got goosebumps kind of rippling down my spine. My breathing kind of shifts, you know, kind of slows down. Taking deeper breaths. I mean, I'm just stunned. For instance, like, it feels so silent up here.
The colors are pretty.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's calming me down, actually.
There you go.
Yeah.
Deep breaths.
We look at these mountains a little bit differently, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, same work.
We're descendants of the Donner Party.
Okay.
So when we come up here, we kind of feel tied to our descendants. Leanna Donner was my 3 times great-grandmother. She never returned back to the mountains after she was rescued. It's kind of like we've gone from I never want to go back there to
I'm going to go out of my way to go back.
yeah, this is our happy spot.
First word that comes to my mind really is gratitude, because God gave us all this. There's that sense of awe. It's just like there's so many beautiful places in the world, we only get to see a little bit, and you want to remind yourself to really take it in, because the world can be fast, our mind is busy. You come to a place like this hopefully to slow down, so that you can feel, sense, experience on a deeper level what's around us.
That's beautifully put.
It was worth it, for sure. Even though I was nervous, it was very much
A little nerve-wracking coming up.
But I got calmer as I enjoyed the view. I calmed down.
The word awe definitely captures that feeling of not being able to fully understand what you're looking at.
I found it hard to comprehend the experience in full because seeing mountains, a lake, a forest, I mean, all in one view, just like didn't seem real.
Nature is meditative. Nature is a bower. The stereotypes and expectations of who you are and how you should be should fall away. You should be you and be able to interact and be who you are. Before moving into the space I am, I had a full-time corporate job. It just didn't feel right. But I felt like so good with the camera in my hand and like these big open places, and had a moment to, I wouldn't say find myself, but a moment to take a deep breath. My story is not a story of resistance, it's a story of opportunity. I've been a climber for a long time, like a decade. I knew all these people that were rad. It's completely off the radar. There's so many stories that can be told. Let me tell stories that I'm close to. I want people to feel invited that they can go and do this. I feel so much gratitude because for a living, I get to expose people to moments that some never thought that they would have, and that's really, really powerful. I try to give people an adventure and experience that they'll never forget because I know those moments can be fleeting. We don't always get to do some of the big adventures that we dream of, and that can be really special, just bringing someone to a place that they never thought that they would be. Those moments of awe, when you're just having this kind of oneness, you see the spirit of like science, where it combines with something that you can't explain. Whether you believe in a higher power or Mother Earth, it's kind of like they kind of come together and you realize things are so much bigger than you. I'm just a small piece and I get to take this in. And if I can capture it and show who's out there, hopefully that's enough.
I might see the same view. I've been at Mount Everest 14 years, but the people I'm bringing who are trying to achieve something they've never achieved before, like I get to feel it through them. I have experiences with my 2-year-old where his mind is completely blown. We took him to Nepal and just took him trekking for 2 weeks. We carried him 99% of the time, along with like my Sherpa
We're
family.
talking about a 2-year-old?
1.5-year-old. Is just blown away by everything, but not only the mountains, by like the pile of yak dung, you know? And you're like, oh, that's how. I love that he sees the world.
That's awesome.
I know how the mountains have changed me throughout my life, and I believe in that change being good for individuals and communities. Whether it's a desire to protect these places or communities that we travel through, or maybe a slightly different way to interact with people or to prioritize things in life. As more and more people come to these beautiful places, we need to be responsible for them as well. Here we've got a good local crag, just a great place to go out and train rock climbing skills you might use in bigger objectives, whether it's mountains or in Yosemite and places like that. In these greatest moments of my life where I think I felt the most awe, it's always when I feel this sense of connectedness or oneness to the people I'm experiencing that with and to the place. I feel overwhelmed by the size and scale that I'm this tiny piece of, and yet I think I also do feel a connection, like I know I'm exactly where I'm meant to be.
We're interested in people's experiences of awe. We use the series of statements. So the first is time perception. I notice time slowing down. We ask them how much they agree with the statement. The second aspect is a diminished sense of self. They feel like they're in the presence of something bigger. The next aspect is a sense of oneness or connectedness. And you can really feel this when you're in nature. And the next aspect, vastness. This could be big natural sights. And the last aspect, the need for accommodation. I felt challenged to understand the experience. But what's been interesting is that when we've been asking people to describe what they felt, they say things that are very similar.
What I love about this spot is the sunlight. It sheds light on the trail, and then you go into a shade, and it is a really sort of unique and special place, just the way the sun plays with it. Really, for me, it's always been about connection to the outside. I really love this concept of sense of place, what a place makes you feel like. And that's what mountain biking does. And you don't have to be hardcore, you just gotta be out here. And you get these aha moments that, you gotta keep doing. I experience a reduced sense of self because there's a certain point where the place overtakes me. You just perceive things are bigger than you, and you're just a part of the picture.
It's a 2-minute activity followed by a brief survey. One of you being the one doing the task, which actually is just viewing this view, and the other one is the observer, which stands next to them and tends to them and watches them go through this experience. We'll give you a mindfulness activity to use throughout your 2 minutes. The first one there is just breathe, relax, just inhale, exhale. The second one there is asking you to open your senses to the world around you. And then the last one there, savor, is just asking you to try not rush past any moments that you're having, and instead just try to absorb and enjoy everything that's in front of you.
So one person's experiencing awe, and then we have a second person who's watching that person. What are you hoping that that person is experiencing or seeing?
I mean, maybe it would be really interesting to see if that person feels, I don't know, some sort of change in their own emotions or feelings just by seeing this person experience awe.
How have you guys felt watching so many people experience awe?
It's good because you see the difference from when they're just walking around and just taking in the view to when they're actually doing the task.
Yeah, just seeing people experience those moments, it does make me want to experience those moments more with my family.
He's admiring the view. I'm kind of just seeing the emotions through his eyes, and once he's calming down, I'm in turn calming down as well. So that's just nice to experience how, depending on the environment you're in, your emotions are triggered accordingly.
Just like seeing her from the corner of my eye, it makes me happy that she smiles when I smile. Being outside, I do feel a lot better. In some way, it does kind of heal me. I know sometimes we're all caught up in our own lives. One day you're gonna hit a wall and you're gonna try to find answers, and I think the answer's out here.
We're batteries. We're drawn to the same places where energy was shared at.
What do you mean by that?
Do you think these roads were here a long time ago? Yes, they were. They were our trails. So humans are naturally inclined to follow where their battery takes them.
What do you think it is about these spots?
I think it's the water in general. Anywhere around the lake
it's crazy.
Is super special.
Yeah, super special.
Tahoe was given to us by Neteshu, the creator, to cleanse ourselves, our not only our bodies, but our minds and our souls, to get rid of all the negative, all the bad, and promote life. This water is here for life. So this is sacred. This lake is sacred to us.
I'm so glad that our bodies are equipped with these little sense-making windows that allow, there's probably all sorts of other stuff going on that I can't even sense, but this is pretty beautiful.
I guess I didn't feel, how sacred it was until I had kids and seeing that joy and that vibration, in them. Growing up being told, this is sacred, you should hold it sacred in this manner. Once you feel it, you know it forever. Thank you for my kids and thank you for my grandkids. When we wash off in the water, that water takes whatever's in us. It takes our negative, it takes our positive. When we are pessimistic about everything, or we think we're in command of everything, we're not giving this energy of the land that same respect, and we're not giving ourselves that respect. When we have no electricity going, our vibration gets real low, and bad things happen.
Yeah.
And right now, there's a real low vibration going on among all people. We forget about being human. We forget about the vibrations. We forget about the energy. Forget about the ants. Forget about everything, because it's not in our view right here. what we want right now. We give ourselves self-gratification every 5 minutes,
Yeah.
but it's not what we need for our life. Dirt is powerful. You know, you give your dirt that respect, you're always looking up, and you can always help build, you can always help nurture, you can always be bigger than what you are.
How do you get people to regain that sense of connection that it seems like so many have lost?
I tell people, go put your face in the dirt, roll around. That's what I do. I tell people, you want to get humble, go roll around the dirt.
What about just touching some bark?
Touching bark, you put your face on it. You try to feel the vibration of the tree, what they've been through, the story that the people that they've seen.
Yeah.
You try to understand that. Humble yourself to that point where you're trying to communicate with a tree. Why can't you? You can. Anybody can. What artifacts are here? You know, how much bark, how many ants are here? How much do they eat? How long ago was the tree standing? There's wonder all over. There's awe all over the place.
You just gotta look for it.
Yes. You gotta be willing for it. To pass this test, you have to show love. Love for everything. Love for appreciation, love for life. Love beyond yourself. Not just what you want, but what everything needs. That's love.
Now we're just about to launch a study with Clearly Tahoe. We're tracking people from right before they go on this incredible kayak experience with clear kayaks, where they really feel an immersion in nature. And we're gonna follow them for 5 days after and see, for the people who had a real experience of awe, how does that shape their well-being over time, and how does that shape their relationship with nature? Because in a lot of these experiments, we're getting people right after their experience of awe, and then they're out of the study. We're not sure the extent to which these are sort of momentary changes in people's well-being and in people's relationship with nature, or if they're lasting changes. This experiment will allow us to sort of see how long that medicine lasts.